What a start. What a start, hey? Welcome back, everyone. What a start, hey? Congratulations in the chats, and then I'm on mute, no sound. What a start, hey? Welcome back, everyone. Game Week 16 deadline stream. Today, we'll be going through usual bits. We'll be having a look at my team. I am potentially going to make another transfer, so if you didn't see my team selection video, I've already confirmed Mbeumo to Anthony Gordon. It's not a transfer I necessarily expect to pay off going into Game Week 16, but it's a transfer I'm happy I've made going forward, and I like the value that Gordon has and what it allows with the rest of my team. Then we'll be doing usual rounds of questions for you guys for basically the majority of the stream. We'll be keeping an eye out for any early team news, with Liverpool being the early kickoff, of those with Tsimikas or those with Darwin. However, as we saw midweek with some of the news that came out before the Liverpool kickoff, which was after the FPL deadline, that there are a lot of Liverpool accounts that claim to know what they're talking about, and not many of them actually did in the end. A lot of them said that Darwin was going to start, and then, of course, he didn't. Still got the assist off the bench, but yeah. So, just a quick review of last week. I got 35 points in the end. To get 5 points from Dubravka, Livramento, Son combined was a little disappointing. I have to admit, a little disappointing, but it is what it is. No Tsimikas playing, despite them keeping a clean sheet, meant my defence was all blanks. 8 from Palmer, 6 from Mbeumo was about the only thing keeping me afloat last week. But before we do teams and stuff like that, let's do our usual rounds of hellos to those of you who are in the chat. And please make sure, just to start the stream, if you could like before we get going. Thank you for the super chat. Would I do Saka, Salah, Foden, Son, Ferguson, Højlund, bench 1? Did Ferguson start midweek? If Ferguson started midweek, I'd probably bench him. If he didn't start midweek, then I'd bench Højlund. MS, Ash, Maz, Dawn, Trey, Scozy, Randall, Jivko, Daniel, Ashish, Fito, Lennox, Manchester Maverick, Bryn, Boxy, Charlton. What else have we got? BL, Anish, Stevo, Immortal, Vigard, Ben, Michael, Edwards, IO, Heather, Vilmar, Manaz, Biang, Kurth, Andrew, Abil, Mr. Was Up, Mini Monster, Olisa, Focus, Aran, Yusuf, Dr. Waleed, Raj, Wout, GM96, Zed, Dale, Timmy, Nathan. Good morning. Good morning to each and every one of you. Thank you all very much for joining. We're in. Let's go. Cool. Let's do some questions to start off the morning. Are hits on defenders worth it, considering how rare clean sheets are? Not massively, but with a hit, what you've got to remember is it gives you a free transfer next week. So if I take a hit this week on a defender, that is a transfer I know I'm going to make at some point anyway. For example, bringing in Pedro Porro. Putting in Pedro Porro. Bringing in Pedro Porro is not worth a -4 this week. However, will it strengthen my team slightly this week? Probably. And will it be a transfer I want to make in the future anyway? Yes. So all it needs to do is play off some of the -4 this week, and I hope that it pays off the rest of the -4 over the next few weeks. So the -4 for a defender, although I don't recommend it, there are certain situations that if you plan to do that transfer in future weeks anyway, then it might be worth it. Let me show you an example with my team. So, for example, I've already done Mbeumo to Gordon. Now, this is going to say I don't have the money for the transfers, but I do. So, the other transfer I could do is cash out and bring in Pedro Porro. Right, I'm going to lose value on cash. So I don't think that transfer pays off this week. So I'd probably play Pedro Porro over Livramento this week. And then Tsimikas in there, like something like that. I don't think Pedro Porro outscores Livramento by 4 points this week. So in theory, it's not worth a hit. However, I lose value on cash. I will gain value on Pedro Porro. And it's a transfer I'll want to do in game week 17 or so anyway. And then going into game week 17, I already also then have another transfer as well. So there are other things to consider other than just the like direct -4 versus not taking a -4 point hit. Because for example, I mean, cash might not drop tonight, but it'll drop again soon. So I'll be forced into an early transfer on it if I wanted to make that transfer next week. Like I'd have to move on probably Sunday or Monday. I'd have to look at the transfers before they play in Europe. Stefan, Gordon or Palmer? I'd probably play Palmer. I'd probably go Palmer out of the two. Just the fixtures are so good for Chelsea that I would want some of us. Like, even we put in a difficult performance against Manchester United, you know at some point we're going to put in a performance like we did against Man City. So for me, I would go there. For me, that's where I would go. Kay, thank you for the super chat. Starts 3 out of Gabriel, Shah, Maguire, Taylor, Lascelles. I mean, you definitely start Maguire. You definitely start Shah. I probably wouldn't double up on Newcastle, so I'd probably play Gabriel. As much as I just don't think Gabriel is going to be worth it this week. I just don't see any points for Arsenal defenders against Villa this week. Take a hit for Dubravka. So this is going to be a very, very common question. If you've got Areola and Turner, do you take a -4? Do you take a -4 to go and correct it? Or go and get Dubravka? Now, again, Dubravka's not gonna... Sorry, one sec. Dubravka's not gonna outscore... I doubt he's gonna score 4 points this week. I doubt he's gonna score 4 points this week. Hang on, where am I? But, it gives you satisfaction that you're going to get a goalkeeper out this week. Plus, if you look at the fixtures, it's a transfer you're going to want to make at some point anyway. Maybe game week 17, you're happy with Areola. But then game weeks 18, 19, 20, like 18, 19, when Dubravka has like Luton away, Forest at home, you're going to be much happier for him. Do I think it pays off a 4-point hit between now and the end of when you have Dubravka? Like, probably. So it comes down to whether you want short-term points or long-term gain in your squad. And there's no right answer to that. I mean, in theory, long-term gain is probably the right answer. But if you're worried about short-term red arrows, then I wouldn't do it as a -4, because I think your score will be worse off this week if you go and take a hit for Dubravka. But I think your squad is better for the long term if you decide to. You could buy him later down the line, but there are other transfers we'll need later down the line. Trent and Trippier in defence. So, a few questions in the chat already about Trent. Let me get him up. I'm still unsure on Trent. He has looked really, really impressive. But what I would say is that the fixtures, like, if you were going to buy Trent, like, maybe this is hindsight, but after we return against Brentford and Man City, maybe going and buying him for Fulham and Sheffield United was the right thing to do. Not after those games, going and buying him for Palace away, United at home, and Arsenal, and then Newcastle in there as well. That's just my, like... But then, like, we've got to buy him at some point. I just don't have a route to him at all. You think the Trent boat has sailed. If he ever gets moved to CM, I'd buy him straight away. So, I mean, maybe I don't think he's a good option because I have no route to buy him. Like, I've got 2.6 in the bank. If I ever wanted to buy... I mean, I would never be able to get Trent and Trippier into this team. Someone at my door. Yes. A few people. You heard that. So if I wanted to get him, I'm still like 0.7 short of it. So, I mean, I would have to have not gone Gordon. I don't know where I'd free up the money for this. So, Trippier for me, based on the fixtures as well, Trippier for me is still the priority into my team. I don't hate Trent, but I do think the boat maybe has sailed. Just looking at the Trippier fixtures now until, like that run in theory until game week 32. How many games do I not want to play him in? 1, 2, maybe 3 away at Villa, but I think even that because it's midweek. Camille, congratulations on your first season FPL winning all your leagues. I wish I was winning my leagues. 4 game weeks between now and April that I don't want to play Trippier in. So I do need to find a route to go and buy him. I do. Well, I have routes to buy him, just not this week. Just not this week. We'll talk about that in a minute. Trippier, even with a yellow. Yeah, he is on 4 yellow cards, but at some point, like, it's not that far away now. Game week 16. So he's got 1, 2... He's got to go 4 games without getting a booking, which, yeah. I hope he gets one against Spurs, but because I'm not going to own him this week. And if he gets one against Spurs, then I will basically own him the next time he plays. But we'll go through that in a minute. You have Pedro Porro. Should I start Dubravka or Areola? I mean, I'm starting Areola in the off chance that he starts. I don't think he will, but I'm playing him in case he does because I don't want to double up on Newcastle defence. However, if I do the -4 and bench Livramento, I might just start Dubravka, so I've got some cover in that game. But I also don't think Gabriel keeps clean sheet either. Tsimikas is the only defender I'm almost partially happy with. I do think Tsimikas starts today. Bench midweek, full rest midweek. Gomez were pretty awful. So yeah, I think Tsimikas starts. Start 3, Trippier, Porro, Tsimikas and Gabriel. Definitely bench Gabriel. Feels like quite a straightforward decision there. What was my job beforehand? So I worked in what was called market research. So I did like, what's the best way to describe it? Like data analysis on what people were buying in the shops to recommend to brands to what they should do with their products, basically. It was really good. It was really good. I loved it. But when you have the chance to do what I'm now very fortunate to do now, you can't turn it down, no matter how much you might have enjoyed your job before. You're thinking, boss, is coming... You have Trent and no Salah. I'm not going to sell Salah yet. I will probably sell him when we get to game week 21. Which I can understand with these fixtures coming up, why people would want to sell him now and just go and buy Trent, but no. Did I do that by programming in? No. I did it in Excel, basically. We have like a platform that has like all the data in that we run, and then we take it out of there and like just do it in Excel. I can't code for anyone who's going to ask. I have no idea. Which differential would I prefer? Willian, Garnacho, or Lo Celso? I'm leaning towards Willian on Pent and has nice home upcoming fixtures. Yeah, I quite like Willian. Fulham do look pretty good at the moment. And they did play a Forest team who were struggling the other day. But yeah, I quite like Willian. Nice punt. Congratulations. Very brave. No, I appreciate it. I mean, it's very brave, but I know I've got an incredible group of viewers behind me. So this is all shout out to you. You look sick or stressed? No. We have some like friends round last night for like a weekend, and it wasn't an early night. I'm not hungover like I was the other day, but I'm just tired. But I will be fine. I've had my cup of coffee, had a slice of leftover pizza, and I'm ready to go. Porro or Livramento this week? Porro. Why didn't you return to Bowen? I mean, I knew that I wanted Palmer. I knew that Boomer was out. I knew I wanted Gordon, because if I would have gone Bowen, it locks me out of getting Trippier. Gordon allowed me Trippier, which is more important than Bowen for me. And although the fixtures coming up, like over the next 2 are not bad for them, they're all right. I prefer, like, Trippier was more important to me than Bowen was. Like, the combination of Bowen and, like, I mean, I could have gone Bowen, Reece James, or I could have gone like Trippier, Gordon. And for me, Trippier, like Gordon, was a better combination. Getting Solanke in place of Cunha for the next 2 weeks. I mean, if there's ever a time to buy Solanke, it's almost now. Like, after United, they have Luton, Forest, Fulham, two of which are at home. Is a very, very nice run. Cheers, Phil. I appreciate it. Gordon or Alvarez? Who would I start this week? I mean, if you've got Alvarez, I feel like you've got to play him. If you've held Alvarez this long and are not going to play him against Luton, like, I probably would sell him. James plays once a week in the next 3. Worth the risk. What, for the next 3? Yeah, I mean, game week 16, then we have a week off. Then it's game week 17. I mean, James should start the next 3. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. I'd be surprised if he does not. But the issue is then you walk into midweek weekend again against Crystal Palace and Luton, and there just could be a benching in there. But if I told you that Reece James misses 1 of the next 6, you'd probably take it, right? Is Reece James missing 1 of the next 6 better than Porro? Like, is Reece James missing 1 of the next 6 better than Porro over this 6? Like, quite maybe. Maybe. Maybe that's worth thinking about. I was pretty set on going Porro, and maybe Reece James just isn't worth the headache, but Porro over this run of 6 fixtures versus, you know, Reece James over this run of fixtures. He's just 0.1 more, which is a little bit annoying. If you have Udogi and you can move to Porro, I would do it. And Mbeumo to Bowen for a hit. Mbeumo to... I mean, if you've got Mbeumo, I probably would take him out for a hit. Because if you're playing an Archer type, the player you're bringing in has got more predicted points than Archer, and you're going to want to do that transfer at some point. So I would do it. Is it okay not starting Darwin against Man United next week and play Almiron against Fulham? Yeah. I mean, let's see how Darwin plays in the Europe first, and then maybe we can make a better judgment. But I mean, anyone who's got Darwin or Tsimikas, they should start today. So I wouldn't have any doubt about that. So I would definitely be starting them today, and then we can evaluate again next week. Sorry, I'm trying to clean my glasses because I can't see anything. Is Sterling a good option? Sterling's a decent option, but is he worth 7 million? Probably not, when some of the other options we've got in the game. I know the fixtures are there, but he's a big differential, and he could do really well, but I just don't think it's worth the price. He's just definitely not a better option than Cole Palmer. He's not worth 1.7 million than Cole Palmer at the moment. So, would Lascelles to Colwill from -4 this week? Probably not. I probably want to see that Colwill starts this week, but the thing about Porro is his attacking data is really, really good. 0.63 XGI at the weekend, 0.64 against Villa, 0.62 against Wolves. The data is really good for Porro. It's definitely better than James. But is this run of fixtures for James just worth it? If he misses 1 of them, unless he gets injured, of course. Pedro Porro is a privilege to see him play. He's so attacking, making shots and goal. He makes everything you want in FPL. Double Newcastle. But this week, Newcastle is troubling. I mean, we thought that about Everton players midweek, right? If I get Porro or James this week, it will be for cash. The issue is, if I do cash to James, this is my plan over the next few weeks. It then leaves me only a 4 mil defender in the third slot, which then means I don't have massive cover for James. It means I don't have massive cover for James. I wanted 4.1 and then I could have gone Branthwaite. But if I only have 4 point... I mean, I could... It seems a bit crazy to put Gusto. Like, there's just nothing here. Like, Cabore's... Oh, Cabore can't play, but... Like, there's just no one to fill that last slot. Whereas if I go Porro, I can go Branthwaite. So that's why Porro fits a little bit better. But if Kieran Trippier could just get a yellow card and get suspended for Fulham at home and drop in price, then all my worries would go away. It would fix everything. Is Douglas Luiz a risk considering he's on 4 yellows? I mean, he'll start against Arsenal. I wouldn't buy Douglas Luiz now. But he'll start today. I've got pretty much no doubt about that. Villa don't play big games without him. Game week 16 free hit, please. You're in the top 25 car and hit it by accident. Okay. I mean, I won't do it exactly, but I'd have like triple City straight away. Defensively, I'd probably take like Reece James, Trent. I mean, Reece James, Trent, Porro. Oh no, maybe yeah. Reece James, Trent if you can afford it, or Simicast if you can't. And maybe Porro, maybe United option, like maybe you go Onana in goal. And then in midfield, like maybe you punt on like a Man United. You have probably like a Liverpool asset where you probably have Salah, Cole Palmer, probably Foden. Yeah, something like that. Who would I go for? Solanke or Trippier? I mean, Trippier is still better long term. You do just run the risk of 4 yellows, but it is like what it is with him. Trent and Porro make your defense shine. Yeah, I could do with some of that. Is Walker worth it this game week? The issue with buying City players, if you're not on a free hit this week, is they blank in game week 18. The next 4... Oh, sorry. The next 4 are really nice. But are we going to get, is there enough in there over the next 4 for them to have a blank as well? City do leak goals. City do leak goals for no reason in these games. So I probably wouldn't buy Kyle Walker. Is Lascelles playing? He's not in like a lot of the predicted lineups. He's not in a lot of the predicted lineups this week. So Jonathan Daniels. Who is he now? Cool. Watkins, sorry, the 50% on Watkins in my predicted lineup shouldn't have been there. He's fine. It was on there from last week or the week before. Yeah, last week. No, yeah. You think Lascelles will play? Maybe. He's played a lot of minutes though. He's played a lot of minutes. I think Lascelles will probably play, but there is a doubt about him. Could be Kraft. It's a quick turnaround. Like Lascelles is fine. Like Lascelles is fine to keep this week. There's not loads of defenders I'd really, really want to buy this week. If they benefit your team longer term, fine. Botman might be back at some point, but we don't quite know. They're pretty closed off about it. Is Son playing? And we have nothing. So I know nothing more on Son than any of you do. We haven't seen any training ground photos. We haven't seen anything on it. They were very unsure about it. I just don't think it's worth selling him for a hit. If you've got Son and you've got a free transfer and there's something that allows you to do, right? So if you downgrade him and you want to buy Trent, fine. Like, it can be worth it. However, after Newcastle, he plays Forest, Everton, Brighton, Bournemouth. Over the Christmas period, when I'm pretty certain he's going to play like every single game. They also have really good spacing for their games over Christmas. So they play Saturday, Thursday, Sunday, which is like some of the best there is. So after a Friday night game as well. So they play Friday, then they get like a full week off, Saturday, Thursday. Like Son will, if he's fit, he'll play all of them. So I just think I'll keep him. Archer on the first on the bench is not the end of the world either. Sheffield United looked pretty good the other day, so is it worth taking a hit for goalkeeper transfer in? If we are bringing Sanchez, knowing out Turner, and if you're going to make a goalkeeper transfer in game week 17 anyway, I'd probably just do it this week. If you've got Areola, Turner. It's possible Turner plays. I'd be surprised, but it's possible. Starting Lord Taylor instead of Gabriel. You think both concede? I mean, it's not impossible. His attacking data's, is pretty rubbish, but he has a total of 0.4, 0.5 expected goal involvement this whole season. So I don't expect a clean sheet from them either, away at Brighton. But maybe he's got more attacking threat. I don't even think he does. He doesn't. It's marginal, but I think I'd still probably back Arsenal. There. Mbumo, to Saka or Bowen. Have money for both. Would I be buying Saka now? Probably. Looking at those next 7 fixtures, I'd probably still buy Saka. Villa away, okay, it's not the perfect fixture. But then Brighton at home, Liverpool away, West Ham at home, Fulham away, Palace at home, Forest away. Like, those are good fixtures. I still would want Saka. I'm still happy I've got him, even if he's not massively evolved. Does it make sense? Kudus to Bowen. I'm not sure if you've got a free transfer, then fine. But what I think of Maguire as an FPL asset. So the issue with Maguire is that you buy him this week, but then he's not that useful until about game week 22 again. Like, he's got one fixture in there away at Forest, which isn't great. And then he becomes useful again. So he's fine, but I don't think you'll get much out of him over the next 4 games, if I'm honest. When is a nice week to wildcard? If you've still got your wildcard, I'd probably save it. If you've got your wildcard, I'd probably save it until game week 19. Would I do Saka to Son? Saka to Son? Absolutely not, based on Saka being a doubt. Definitely not. Maybe if you want to do it next week, then fine, but I'm not sure I'd do that. Will we eventually need to sell Son and Salah for the AFCON / Asia Cup? Probably. There is a possibility that, because of the way the fixture spacing works, they'll leave before 21, and it's possible that they come back before 22 because it's a Wednesday. They play Sunday and then they play 10 days later. Son, on the other hand, South Korea are expected to go very far in the tournament, which could mean they miss like 21 through to 24, which makes Son a sell. Salah you might be able to hold on to, because you could do like Son, an Archer to, I don't know, like here's a Bowen and a cheap forward, right? And then that allows you to just bench Saka, to bench Salah. It's possible, but I definitely think Son will be a sell. Salah will probably be as well, depending on what your bench is like. Take a -4, Anderson in for me. Anderson to me. No. Again, buying Brentford defenders when they blank in game week 18 is not what I'd want to do. Their next two fixtures, one of them's Villa at home as well, which is not great, and away at Sheffield United, who looked pretty good the other day. I definitely wouldn't be getting a Brentford defender into my team now. What are my thoughts on Alvarez with the turn in fixtures? I mean, he's always going to be in and around being an option, right? Because he's starting for a Man City team who are one of the best attacking sides in the league. However, his data, since his returns dried up, his data has also been really poor. And he blanks. And De Bruyne is going to be back in not that long. So it's a very short-term punt that I don't love, if I'm honest. I get why you might want to do it, but just there's so much positivity about when De Bruyne might be back. I'm good, thanks, Dan. What are my thoughts? Saka in for free transfer, but you have Trent and Areola as my two goalkeepers. We're taking a hit this week to do a goalkeeper transfer. If you're going to do the transfer next week anyway, just do it for a hit this week, yes. My favourite team to watch right now, not considering FPL. Am I neutral or... If I'm a neutral, I would say Chelsea, because every game Chelsea is involved in at the moment is chaos. If I'm not... I mean, Spurs' games are pretty chaotic every week as well. So whether they win or lose, maybe them. Liverpool as well. If I'm looking for yeah, probably them. Brighton's games are also all over the place. Not necessarily for a good thing either. When should we look to transfer Alvarez out and who for? I mean, if you're going Alvarez, you'll probably want to sell him in the blank anyway, unless you're playing a free hit. So I don't know who your other strikers are, but Watkins in the blank when Watkins has... Sheffield United at home. Do I start Wan-Bissaka over Tsimikas, Trippier or Saliba? I mean, I'd probably bench Saliba. I just don't think they keep a clean sheet away at Villa. What do I think about Bailey? I just think Diaby will still play a very good amount of minutes. Now, they can play together, but I don't think I would do it. I don't think I'd be buying Leon Bailey yet. Thinking I should be taking a risk on players like Iwobi being ranked in the top 3K. If I was ranked in the top 3K... risky picks is not where I'd be right now. I'd be quite happy to stay in the top 3K now and for as many more weeks that I want to. So I wouldn't be taking an Iwobi punt if I was ranked 3K in the world right now. But that's just the way I play it. Is Nunes playing, Harry? You need to know. I'd be very surprised if Darwin doesn't start against Palace. I'd be very surprised if he does not start. So I think he will. What happens with Diaby and Cash? Any chance of them playing soon? I think Villa will be unchanged today, if I'm honest. You can't beat City and then bench someone. It's quite harsh, but... Brandon? Am I taking a -4? If so, for who? I might do defensively. I do need to look at that. And Ali A. Why not captain Salah? He's not looked quite as involved over the past two. I mean, he's played... And then he got hooked early. It's not looked quite at it. Haaland... I mean, nor is Haaland, to be fair. He should have had more against Spurs, though. His data is still really good. So, he's playing Luton as well. I mean, Luton's not a bad side, but... Do I think Salah is getting more minutes than Haaland this week? I'd be surprised. But, You've got to realise that both Salah and Haaland have basically got a week off. They play away against that team in the Champions League, but they've already qualified top of their group, so Haaland just won't play. I'd be surprised if Haaland travels for that. I'd be surprised if Haaland even travels for that game. So, Kilman or Livramento this week? Kilman. Definitely have a good fixture. Yeah, home to Forest. Definitely Kilman. I'd love to have a decent fixture for one of my defenders this week. We've hardly plugged. If you haven't already, please make sure you've liked the stream. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel as well. We're only 700 subscribers away from 90,000. Start 2, Solanke, Son, or Palmer. I mean, I probably would bench Solanke away at United out of those three. As much as I think he's a good option, if I had the choice, I'd bench Solanke. Do Johnston to Sanchez with Areola as the risk of not starting. Alf, if that's the transfer you're going to make next week anyway, yes, the Chelsea fixtures are good. I mean, Sanchez has just saved a penalty, right? Which is why his numbers are very inflated. But should I sell Saliba? I mean, there's not many defenders I massively think you should be buying this week, but so probably not. Probably not. He's a good asset still. I think just keep one Arsenal defender in your squad most weeks now. I just think they are still a good defence. Palmer's, is that going to be his second rise? Yeah, he's up to 5-4. That would make him 5-5. Chelsea today. Will I know the Chelsea lineup tonight? If Colwill starts, I might just buy Colwill. No, we play tomorrow. That's annoying. Is it worth taking a -4 hit to bring in Gordon in for a Dingra this week? Probably not. Probably not. I would probably just do it next week. Unless you've got other stuff you want to do next week. They do have Burnley at home. It's just if he's going to start it or not. But I think I probably wouldn't do that -4. Given you've missed the value. If you were going to catch price rises on Gordon, then maybe. But I'd probably do it next week. If you were to trade out Gabriel, who would I bring in? I mean, the defenders I'm looking at are Chelsea and Porro, basically. Are Chelsea and Pedro Porro, basically. Top 3 attackers in FPL. There are, in the top right-hand side, in a minute, there will be your top 10, your top 5 forwards ranked in FPL. So they'll be coming in a second. So what I think about Lewis Miley was nailed the last 4 weeks. I mean, fine, but he's not going to get you very much. He got an assist against Chelsea, but he's a 4.5 million mid. He's playing while there were injuries and stuff. I mean, I don't really know why you'd buy him. If I'm buying a midfield at that price or similar price, I'm buying Garnacho. So he does look pretty nailed now. Started the last 5. Features are all right. Alisson will start today. There's still no news about him. I mean, he's meant to be back in training, so I would probably expect Alisson to start today. I probably would think Alisson's going to start today, which is a real boost for Tsimikas owners. Which is a real boost for Tsimikas owners. I mean, Kelleher was all right, but he's no Alisson. Bench 1 of Gabriel, Simicast, Lascelles, Robinson. Either Gabriel or Lascelles. Probably Lascelles, Charlie. Any chance Diaby starts? I mean, there's a chance. It's possible. 1 free transfer and you have Gabriel, Lascelles, Anderson, Cash, Taylor. Prefer Derby or a defensive transfer? Defensive. Like Anderson or Cash to Porro. Just take the chance on Diaby this week, I think. Buy a goalkeeper for -4 or no goalkeeper this week. If you've got Areola, Turner, I still think Turner to Dubravka is worth a -4 over the next few weeks. Bob, I'm very sorry. Have Palmer, Saka, Gordon, Salah, who to -4 for Mbuemo. I mean, you are missing Son, which I imagine you can't do. Bowen. You have Saliba and Gabriel, sell Saliba for Colwell. I mean, I don't think Chelsea keep a clean sheet this week, so I'm not sure I'd be rushing to do that. I'd probably wait till Sunday to make sure Colwell starts again, and then I'd do it, because I don't think I want to do it this week. Diaby out for a -4. Mids are Son, Salah, Saka, Palmer. I mean, you're missing Gordon, but I don't think Diaby to Gordon is worth a -4. And Pranav has just asked that in the chat. I just don't think it's worth a -4 now you've missed the price changes. I haven't taken my -4 yet. No, I might do. I need to look at my defence in a minute. And Burma to Saka or Bowen. Have money for both. We did. Saka. Cool. Sterling. I mean, Sterling's fine. He's just on 4 yellow cards as well. Kenson Y, thank you for joining as a top GOAT tier member. That is very kind of you. Drop me a message on Instagram or Twitter and I'll get you added to the WhatsApp groups as soon as I can after the stream. Like, Sterling's been fine, but he's hardly been amazing. And he's on 4 yellows. 5 goals this season, 2 of which came in that game against Luton. So outside of that, he scored 3 goals this year. I'm just not sure it's worth it. Triple captain time, Haaland will want to score so bad. I mean, as single game weeks go, I think it's an alright game week for it, but I'm still never going to play my triple captain in a single game week. Can we buy Havertz? I mean, I wouldn't. I still think Trossard is a better player and he'll rotate with him. So Son or Bowen. If I'm buying one this week, Bowen, but I wouldn't sell Son to Bowen, if that makes sense. If I was buying new, well, you're not going to buy Son because he's flagged, so I wouldn't sell one for the other, though. What did I do for work before? I did market research. Sort of data analysis on, like, shopping behavior. It sounds a lot more like numbers-based than it was. I mean, we did a lot with numbers, but it was... Anyway. Start Anderson or Cash. That's not great. Anderson, because I don't think Cash starts. So there's a lot of questions about goalkeepers. If you've got Areola, Turner, I still think Turner to Dubravka is worth a -4. I don't think it will pay off this week, but you'll want your transfers every week over the next few... You want your transfers every game week for the next few weeks, and just having Dubravka as a backup or a better option than Areola. Why start Areola? I mean, I don't really want double Newcastle defence, but any price changes pending? Yeah, there are a few. What time is it? We still got an hour. Cool. There are a few. Hwang Yi-chan, Sanchez, Cunha, Dallo might go up tonight, but this will change a lot between now and deadline. There'll be a lot of transfers in the next hour, I imagine. And then Anderson, going down. Son, Darwin, Alvarez all predicted to go down tonight at the moment. Congratulations on quitting an exciting new chapter. Thank you, everyone. When Alisson is getting back, I think he might be in the team sheet today. I don't know. But based on the comments that were made, do I think he could start this one? Yes, I think he'll start. Maybe he rewards Kelleher, but I don't think that's how Klopp works. I think it will be as soon as Alisson is back, he'll be back in goal, and I think that will probably be today. But yeah. Is Areola to Sanchez a good transfer? Areola to Sanchez. I'd rather do Turner to Sanchez. Still keeping Areola as a... Still see Turner to Sanchez as a better transfer. Because Sanchez Areola rotates well. What's the reason for Darwin dropping in price? I mean, people have just sold him. After you get benched in a game, people will sell you. Like, it's unfortunately just how the game works. There'll be enough people who are not happy with his 3 points midweek after being benched that won't care that he's probably going to start versus Palace. Same team as me, but Ward-Prowse for Gordon. What to do? I mean, Ward-Prowse to Gordon? It's not the end of the world. It's not a bad transfer. Do you need to do it this week? Probably not, based on the West Ham fixture versus the Newcastle fixture. But you could probably roll Sigurd and do it next week. Thoughts on keeping Areola? I've Turner on the bench. Should I risk? I still would do Turner to Dubravka. I would still do it this week. Like, I still think it's a transfer that's going to pay off long term. I just don't think they're going to sign a goalkeeper. And if they sign a goalkeeper, they sign a goalkeeper. But I'm going to take Fulham, Luton and Forest from Dubravka and see where we get. I've still had one goalkeeper clean sheet this season. Whenever I've advised you against taking a hit in the last few weeks, it's always worked well. Thank you. You're going to take your advice and not take a hit of Diaby to Gordon. I probably would do the same. Yeah. Which two to start off? Areola, Dubravka, Gabriel, Livramento. I mean, I probably would go Dubravka, Gabriel. Probably would go Dubravka, Gabriel. So, just to talk about my team briefly. So, I know I want to do at some point Livramento to Trippier. I've got to do it from Livramento because I've got two other Newcastle assets in Dubravka and Gordon, right? So, it has to be Livramento up there. It leaves me 0.1 million short. There are a few ways that I can free up that money. I do think that I'll want to sell Tsimikas based on their upcoming fixtures. And Cash based on him not being nailed and their fixtures are only all right. Like, I don't even know. And he's on 4 yellows as well. And he's dropping in price like a stone, right? He's probably going to go down again. Yeah, brilliant. So there are two ways to do it. If I think Tsimikas and Cash are going to go, I can do, I'll go Colwill. And that leaves me 4.9. That leaves me 4.9, which I can do, I can't get Porro. I can't quite get to Dallo yet, but he's 5 and he's actually predicted to go up in price, so I can't do that. Like, Romero, I could do a Spurs defender that's not Porro. I could go and buy, Pau Torres. I, in theory, could keep Cash, but I'm not going to do that. He'll go at some point. I mean, a Kanji. He's playing a lot of minutes. And when he doesn't play, he stays on the bench. Got Gordon, Son and Trippier. Start Udogie or Aged. Probably Aged. I wouldn't want Udogie really this week. Turner to Dubravka from -4. Already have Areola. I probably would do that. So I can do Colwill plus another Put... What are the... Oh, the Palace fixtures are horrible. I mean, let's just put Romero in there for now. So I can do Colwill and Romero. I could also go Porro and Branthwaite. Branthwaite's on 4 yellows though, and he has a difficult game in the blank. Is the annoying thing with Branthwaite. He has Spurs away in the blank, which is not great. But my bench in the blank would probably be Haaland, like Branthwaite, Taylor. So I might even, or Gabriel. Like I'd have to then play Gabriel away at Liverpool, which is not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. So I could do to Porro. I could go to Porro. Or in theory, I could go to Reece James. And then I need a 4 million defender in here, which is like Kabore. So I basically have got, how much is that? 9.4 to spend on 2 defenders. And it's just working out who I want to buy in those 9.4 mil. Is it like Colwill Romero or Colwill Udogie? Is it Porro and a really cheap one? So I suddenly was looking at it and someone mentioned it in the chat, and this is why I'm talking about Reece James now, is that the fixtures coming up, he didn't start midweek, right? So you'd be pretty surprised if he didn't start Everton. And then if he starts Everton, it's a week later. He should start Sheffield United. A week later, we play Wolves. Then we play midweek Palace weekend. And then a week later, we play Fulham. So if I was to tell you that Reece James missed one of those games, would you prefer that over Colwill, who also might miss one of those games? I mean, Colwill is 0.8 cheaper, right? So... No, they're not all for -12 this week. They're not for -12 this week. They're just like future moves. Future moves. Don't forget our Newcastle game on the 19th. That's true. That's true. We don't know how much he favours that game. Is he going to want to play Reece James on in the Cup? Between game week 17 and 18. That's true. Is he going to want to play Reece James at home to Newcastle in the Cup? Udogie or Gabriel to start? Maybe Udogie. Just the home fixture. Newcastle looked really rubbish midweek as well. Who am I against in the FPL Cup? That's a good question. Let's have a look. I got a bye last week. I'm against this guy who is currently ranked 7.5 million in the world. Yeah. Oh, he's got his captain set on Haaland, this guy. You watch. This is the week João Pedro is going to do his things. A Kanji clean sheet. I mean, he can only put out 10 players every week. No, 9 players. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Oh, this is a good green screen, this. Ward-Prowse or one of Archer Taylor? Ward-Prowse. Will cash drop again tonight? I mean, it's possible. They don't rarely let players drop 2 nights in a row. So I would be surprised. Right, he's gone like more, but I'd be surprised. Wow, Hwang Hee-chan is he the most transferred in midfielder? Colwell the most transferred in defend. Oh, that's all defenders. Trent the most transferred in defender. Sanchez in goal. Trent in defence. Palmer, Hwang Hee-chan in midfield. Wow, he's on 4 yellows though. And he goes to the Asia Cup in game week 21. I'm surprised that he's so high up there. Yellow cards. 4. That'd be a real killer for anyone buying him this week. Cunha, the most bought forward. I mean, that's fair. There's not really a forward to buy this week. Your cup opponent played free hit in game week 13 and got a 10 million game week rank. That is rough. You have to feel for someone like that. You're still playing the game and you play your free hit and you get a 10 million rank. That'd be hard to come back from that. Cash or Lascelles? Sorry, this is not my team. People are tuning in thinking, what on earth is this team? This is my cup opponent. Do you think I can win? Walker or Colwell in for cash? Probably Colwell. Players go to the AFCON Cup of Nations and to the Asia Cup in game week 21. So they will play game week 20 and they will miss game week 21. Start Son or Archer? Son, definitely. Definitely start Son. If you've got Son, don't bench him because he could well play. And if he plays against that Newcastle team, then lucky one versus a dead account for sure. Simicast to Trent or Cash to Porro for this week? Cash to Porro because Simicast should start. Cash or Lascelles? I mean, yeah. Lascelles probably. It's not a great combination, I can't lie. But probably Lascelles. Because if Lascelles doesn't play, he'll play no minutes. Which you get the dreaded 1 pointer from Cash, I think. 2 free transfers, 1 defender and a mid, my advice. I mean, Trent and Salah. I don't know how much money you've got. Looking at general budget, I mean, Porro is up there. My top 5 midfielders to buy are all up in the top right for you now as well. So just look at your budget and I suppose which of those you can afford. Top 5 defenders are there as well. Player of the month, Harry Maguire, my fifth defender to buy this week. Or my 5th defender in FPL this week. Should he bring Trippier and Enzo or Porro and Gordon? Not Enzo, Porro and Gordon. Why Areola over Dubravka? I just don't really want double Newcastle defence again. But it's probably better than playing Areola because West Ham can't defend, right? News on Areola. It was a wrist injury, which doesn't bode particularly well. Yeah, if you've got Areola. It doesn't bode well. Am I playing Livramento because you think it's a good option or because your bench options are worse? Because my bench options are worse. Thank you, Rory. Rory, appreciate it. Thank you for being a member for 16 months and for moderating along the way. I appreciate all your help. There are 2,200 of you in here and only 400 likes on the stream. That's less than 1 in 5 of you. Go on. What time is it? Oh, it is past 10. Cool. Let's whack it in subscriber only mode for the last hour of the stream. You literally have to have subscribed. Oh, it's already in subscriber only mode. Am I certain to get Trippier in? At some point, yes. This week, no. Will Kelleher start? I have a feeling Alisson might. I don't know anything. Simicast to Trent or Cash to Porro. Yeah, we did that. Cash to Porro. Don't sell Simicast. I'm pretty sure Simicast will start today. You have Mitchell, Baldock, Kabore, Areola, Turner and Mbumo. 4-point hit to bring in Robinson and Palmer. Yeah, Mbumo to Palmer is good. Would I do a hit for Anthony Robinson? I mean, looking at your defence, maybe, yeah. Can you not go to Porro? I'm guessing not. Well, can't you do Mbumo to Palmer and Mitchell to Porro? I'd probably prefer that. Unless you've already got him, then fine. Start Toffolo or Taylor. Probably Toffolo. I mean, I'm not a big Charlie Taylor fan, to be honest. Gabriel or Lascelles to start, bearing in mind that you also have Saliba in your lineup. If you don't have any Newcastle, then just start Lascelles. Because I think both are equally rubbish this week. No offense to you, I've got Newcastle and Arsenal in my team as well. Congratulations on full-time FPL. Would I bench Palmer, Gordon, Garnacho or Solanke? I mean, probably Solanke or Gordon. Definitely Palmer and Garnacho I would start. Gordon or Solanke. I'd probably bench Solanke. That Spurs team still concede goals. That's why I'm also uncertain on buying Porro. It's just their defensive numbers are not great. This XGC is so poor. Yes, he's going to get 5s, but he's basically relying on attacking output. Even in easier games, they put 2 XG up against Wolves. I mean, they have had a difficult run. Let me refresh this because I'm not taking a -12. Sell Anderson to Porro for a hit. Yeah, I probably would because you'll want to do that transfer at some point anyway. Porro in for Lascelles or Trippier in for Gabriel. Probably Trippier. I mean, he is on 4 yellows, but he's just the better option, and he'll be the better option next week as well. Home to Fulham next week is good. I'm just seeing if there's anything on. No, nothing. Just predictions. I mean, all the predictions have Alisson, Tsimikas, and Darwin in them, but they are just predictions at the moment. So, keeper suggestions except Dubravka, Sanchez. Probably the only 2 goalkeepers I'd consider at the moment. -4 for Colwell, Palmer, Gordon. I'm not sure Colwell is necessarily worth a -4, but the other 2's fine. I'm not sure that's worth a -4. Cole and Gordon, I would probably only buy one of them and just get one of them next week for free. I'm not sure it's worth a hit. I mean, if you're selling injured players, then fine. But yeah, Cole or Gordon in for a hit is probably not what I'd want to do. You accidentally did Burn and Mbumo for Trippier and McTominay. Trippier and McTominay's all right. I don't know how to feel on McTominay because he's one of those players that I just will never recommend anyone buying. But, he's looked all right, and he's getting pretty nailed now as well. He started 6 in a row. And he's, when he's scoring twice in a 2-1 win, he'll start the next one as well. So, maybe he just stays in there. Start Ward-Prowse or one of Archer Taylor. Ward-Prowse, Pranav. You have to say, you feel so proud. I mean, I don't know you, but good luck in your new chapter, and you being a Chelsea fan makes it better. I appreciate that, Salman. Thank you very much. You might not know me personally, but we're here every week, so I spend enough time. Anderson to Trippier from -4. I mean, yes. I was just thinking, if he gets booked today, then you probably would say no, but you probably do want to make that transfer at some point anyway. And Anderson's going to be dropping in price, so yes. Bring in Son or Bowen for Mbumo for a hit. Bring in Son or Bowen. Well, you can't buy Bowen this week. If you've got Son this week, you definitely keep him and you definitely start him. But if you don't own him, you just can't buy a player who's yellow flagged. You just can't. So you just have to wait a week before you go and buy him. Just have to wait a week before you go and buy him. Dubravka and James or Sanchez and Shaw? Probably Dubravka and James. I mean, you could just go Colwill. Will Lascelles start? I don't know. I have no idea. Probably. It was just a dead leg, but I don't know anything. You've been here since day one. Well, since 2.5 years. Your girlfriend wants to beat me in FPL. She's currently 200k. Don't let her win. I'll do my best. It's been a rough start. Liverpool news is often expected, but as we all saw midweek, there are a lot of Liverpool accounts who don't know what they're talking about. A lot of tweets midweek, for anyone who wasn't certain, said it was after the deadline, so it didn't matter, but said Darwin started in that game. And he, of course, didn't. So I'm a bit wary of them being the early kickoff this week. A bit wary of them being the early kickoff this week. Saka isn't getting too many points. I mean, he is just like being consistent. He's not exploding, but the consistency is there. And with the fixtures that they do have, like Brighton, Liverpool, West Ham, Fulham, Palace, Forest, like I'm more than happy to hold him for this run. So I don't think there's anything we should do to panic on Saka. I wouldn't go panicking on Bukayo Saka. One week punt on Hwang, then bringing Gordon next week. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. 1 week punts are just never worth it, in my opinion. Like that, if it's an extra transfer, so you basically have to take 4 points off the player that you're selling. You're taking a 1 week punt off for it to be worth it. So Hwang has to score. If he scores 7 and Gordon gets 3, in theory, it's not worth it. In theory, it's not worth it. It's break even at that point. So you're kind of hoping for 2 returns, which is definitely not worth it on a player like Hwang. Start Rice or McAtee. I mean, probably McAtee. I mean, Declan Rice has got more attacking returns than I thought he'd get all season so far. So maybe not the best one to judge. Someone in one of my mini leagues who's doing all right has Declan Rice. And every week they leave players on their bench and just keep starting Declan Rice. And it does my head in. But he's been doing quite well. I mean, he's been doing all right. He had a lot of blanks before this week, but he started the season pretty well for a player at that price. If I had Porro this week, would I start him? Absolutely, over pretty much any of my defenders. Which is why I am considering him for a hit. Do I think Porro's attacking threat is a better option than like Colwill and let's get FPL rotation planner up. And I do. Am I playing Foot Champs today? No, I gave up on that game. I normally play FIFA or AFC now for about 2 months religiously, and then it ends, and I get bored of it, and then I get 2 behind the curve. Mosen, thank you for the super chat. What's the benefit -4 for Turner Dubravka? Just because Dubravka is a keeper you'll want going forward, and it ensures you get a goalkeeper out this week if you've got Areola as your other keeper. So if I go, who's the best to rotate with Chelsea? I want 2. I want to start 1. And let's say the next to game week. Let's go game week 26. Random game week. Brighton. Well, that's not going to happen. Crystal Palace. Great. I mean, game week Palace is not the end of the world, actually. Like, I would just have to leave him on the bench until we get to game week 22. But United, game week 18 is not great. That Palace one's quite interesting. Because what that would mean is that I would roll this week. I wouldn't take the hit this week. And then next week, I would do cash to Colwill if he starts, and Livramento to Trips if he doesn't get a yellow card. And then, what's Anderson's price now? Is there any chance he keeps plummeting in price? I mean, the issue is, he'd probably be the one that I want, but I wouldn't play him for the first 4 weeks that I own him. I mean, he's not that great after that. He's only useful in game week 22 until game week 25. It's probably not worth it. The thing with Colwill is I could just like buy him and just leave him there. Sanchez is a good transfer. Yes, yeah. Which website is this, please? This is called FPL Rotation Planner. Let me put it in the chat. It's a very useful one. It allows you to like look at rotations. Of players. So you select the ones you want. If you want someone for certain in, you just click the lock one. So it will definitely include Chelsea. If you don't want a team, so if I didn't want Brighton, I could just like not include them. And then you just click generate and it gives you the 2. If I wanted 3 defenders, I just changed that to 3. If I wanted 3 of them and I had to start 2 every week, I could do that. It's really good. Very easy to use as well. And then you can just select the game weeks that you want. Because like, if in theory, if you wanted a rotation, but you were blanking, if you were playing a free hit in game week 18, you could just remove game week 18 and then generate. You could rotate for the rest of the season. Newcastle, Chelsea, West Ham apparently is the best, including Chelsea. Start Cunha at home or Gordon away. I'd probably play Cunha if you've got him. He's been really good this season. Be very impressed with him recently. Is Areola fit to start? He's predicted to start. That's all we've got, predictions at the moment. But he is predicted to start. How bad is Son's injury? We just don't know. There was nothing new in the press conference. We're hoping that he plays today. But, yeah. Why did I quit my job? I quit my job because I spend a lot of like time in the evenings, late at night, recording videos. My channel has done pretty well over the past couple of years, and I wanted to be able to spend more time on my content, making it better, producing more of it. And yeah, I thought I'd got to a place where I thought that I had the ability to do that. And again, I've said it before and I will say it again. I cannot thank every single one of you watching. Enough of it. Enough for it. Sell Ream or cash to Porro? I mean, probably cash. Probably cash. -4 for James. I wouldn't take a -4 hit to buy Reece James. No, I would not do that. Doing Trent captain. Well, good luck to you. I'm not sure I'd be doing that, but I can sort of understand why you'd want it. But away fixture is probably not. If I do it, I want to do it at Anfield. Oh, sorry. I keep knocking my mic today. -4 for Porro in from Mitchell. Yes. Super chat up above. Sorry. If Darwin doesn't start Toffolo instead. I'd probably just play. I'd probably just start Darwin even if he doesn't, and just hope he comes off the bench and does damage like he could have done midweek. I mean, he did damage to someone, maybe not the opposition, but he did damage to a player. Who would I play out of James and Gabriel? James, definitely. If you've got James, definitely don't go benching him. CFC, you have 1 free transfer with no playing keeper and Lascelles starting. -4 for Dubravka and Porro. Yes, I probably would. If you've got Areola, Turner, I would do Turner to Dubravka for a hit. It will pay off at some point. Bourbon Legend, appreciate it. Ream seems to lose his place on Fulham lineup, didn't he? Did he... Who played? Was Diop back? Was it Diop? No, he's flagged again. Who was it? Who played? Oh, is Tosin back? Oh, he's been injured all season. He's been injured all season, basically. And he came back and they started him. Fair enough. It's not great for Tim Ream. He's 4-3 as well. Interesting. That's quite interesting. If you need a cheap defender, if only I could go Porro, Tosin, Adarabioyo, because they have a good fixture in game week 18 as well. But I can't. Unless Trippier gets booked and drops in price twice. What are the chances of Trippier getting booked and dropping in price twice? Oh, would I sell Ream or cash to Porro? Oh, yeah, right, got it. I mean, I probably would still sell cash because the money's there. But cash might come in for the Sheffield United at home game is the only thing, which is part of the reason I'm like not necessarily rushing to sell him, although I'm bleeding value through this guy. Like, that's a great game if he plays it in the blank. Be very helpful to have him in that game. So maybe Ream. If I don't have to change Mbeumo, what's going to be my move? If I didn't change Mbeumo, I would have done a defensive transfer. I probably would have bought Porro. I haven't made a -4. Just is he going to play 90 every week? He's just better than Branthwaite, but it leaves me short of the transfers I want to make. I'm probably not going to take... Is Colwell going to... Oh, Colwell's close to rising. If you could all wait for your transfers until Sunday, after we see the Chelsea and Spurs lineups and Newcastle lineups, but... Juice, thank you very much for gifting 5 memberships. Congratulations to Arkle, GW16, Alf, Quick IQ, and Annie Runda for winning memberships. Very kindly gifted by FPL Juice. Absolutely, like, go there. But right now, I'm not certain. Congrats on full time. Always big time. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah. So, yeah, those of you who got those memberships, remember to say a big thank you. You get all the members content for a month. What do I think about Sterling? I just don't think he's worth the price, particularly given he's on 5 yellows. So, yeah, the thing... I would take a hit for Porro this week, but Porro and Branthwaite just doesn't really make sense. So I'd want to wait to see if Trippier gets booked. Because if Trippier gets booked, it is possible he drops twice before he plays again. Like, maybe once, but I'm sure he'd drop at least once, which would change the option. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone who's 4-2 who's worth it. Oh. Don't know if there's any defender who's 4-2 that would help, but... Who else is there? I mean, like Lascelles. Like, there's just no one even at 4-2, right? So, bless you, thank you. Lascelles, Taylor, Cash. If I had to play one, I'd probably play Lascelles. Diaby to Gordon, Bowen, -4. If I go for Bowen, I can do James instead of Colwill in game week 17. If I don't trade Diaby out, he will stay to game week. I would sell him. And I probably would go... I imagine you mean if you do Gordon, you can do James instead of Colwill. I imagine. So I prefer... I mean, I probably would go Bowen, Colwill, probably. You have one free transfer. Would I do Tsimikas, Gabriel, or Charlie Taylor to Porro or roll? I don't know who you're starting, but I would probably roll. I wouldn't sell Tsimikas this week. Sorry, I'm all sneezy now. Dubravka over Areola. I mean, it's pretty close. I'm not sure Areola will play. It was a wrist injury. That's not good for goalkeepers. We don't know if Tsimikas is starting. We do expect him to, though. We do expect him to. The predicted lineup, yeah. I mean, all the predicted lineups have Tsimikas and Trent in. Kabore to Colwill or Shah. Can't afford trips. Probably Colwill. Please address Turner Areola situation. So, yes. If you've got Turner Areola, I would take a hit for Turner to Dubravka. I do not think it pays off for you this week. I do not think it pays off for you immediately. But I think it will pay off at some point. You probably won't even notice it. But at some point between now and... Sorry, one sec. But some point between now and, I don't know, when Pope comes back, I think it will pay off. So it might be short-term pain, but I think you get a long-term benefit out of it. Any Son update? No, literally nothing. The press conference came too soon after the game on Thursday night that he just couldn't give us an update, which is a little bit annoying. Bench 1, Gabriel, Saliba, Tsimikas, or Idingra. Probably Gabriel. I'll probably bench one of your Arsenal players. Is Porro worth a -4? Who have you got? Lascelles, Gabriel, Saliba. I mean, I probably would. I wouldn't hate Saliba to Porro for a hit. It just means that when the Arsenal fixtures come around, you've still got Gabriel, who seems to be playing as many minutes at the moment. With Tomiyasu out injured as well, we might not see him again this year, which means the chances of Gabriel being benched over Saliba is not much. Cash to Trippier, Porro, or James for a hit. I mean, I would just go Trippier. I know he's on 4 yellows, but it's probably just the simplest move. That being said, I do hope he gets booked, because I want to buy him, and I want to buy him for less than 7 million. But probably just go straight to Trippier. Am I taking a -4? I mean, I'm probably not, and I'm probably just going to wait. But it's definitely coming. It's definitely over the next couple of game weeks. It's going to have to happen. It's going to have to happen. But I just don't necessarily think it's worth it this week. Just because this is it. Like, my hit would be for Porro. And if I do the Porro hit and I get Trippier as well, it just leaves me with a 4.1, which just makes my squad too weak going forward. Darren's, I'm very sorry. Let me do them now. Joining late, Son news, Darwin or Isaac to Solanke. Darwin will start today, so I'd sell Isaac. Son news, we have nothing. Literally nothing. So, yeah. Well, I know nothing more than you. I think if I had to guess, he plays. If you got him, keep him, but I can only see one. Yeah, Son, like we just don't have the info on Son. We just don't have the info on Son. It's just a hold whatever you've got. If you don't own him, you don't buy him, and if you've got him, you keep him for me. Considering you have wildcard left, should I bring in Edison from -4, hoping Areola plays in game week 18? Should I bring in Areola from -4, hoping Areola plays in game week 18? I wouldn't buy Edison. I just wouldn't buy Edison. No. If you need a clean sheet for the next 2 games, like I'd rather Flecken for the next 2 than than him, but yeah, or like Sanchez for that period as well. I just wouldn't buy. It's just never been a reliable option. I bought him at some point last year, and I will not do it again on Edison. The end of last season, there was a period where they just had like 3 double game weeks or 2 double game weeks and a nice run of fixtures around that. And we all bought Edison and it just went horribly wrong. Bench one of Simicast, Maguire and Livramento. Livramento for sure, Dara. I don't know my total team. Oh, I can find out. It's down here, isn't it? My team value is 104.0. So, to answer common questions, cash replacements, Porro or Colwill if you can't afford Porro. If you've got Areola, Turner, I would sell Turner to Dubravka even for a -4. If you've got double Arsenal defence, I would sell the more expensive one, probably Saliba, to go and buy Porro this week. If you're looking for Mbeumo replacements, I would do Mbeumo to Bowen if you can afford it, Gordon or Palmer. Again, they're all in my top midfielders to buy this week, ranking across the top of the screen in a moment. There was another one. And Son. Son we know nothing on. He is, literally nothing. He said he was okay after the game. The press conference on Friday was too soon after the game on Thursday to add anything new, basically. So we have no new information on that. That's where we're at with Son. That's where we're at with Mbeumo. Lascelles, I don't know if he's going to start. Apparently, it was a dead leg, so we would hope that he would be okay. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. Should I take a hit to buy a defender? Your current starters are Taylor, Ants, and Simicast. I wanted to buy Porro. Also, bench one of Saka or Watkins. Surely you're not benching Saka or Watkins. Surely you are not benching Saka or Watkins. I cannot advise that is a sensible thing to do. If I had to bench one, I would probably bench Saka. But I would not want to do it. I would advise doing something else. And yes, I would do Anderson to Porro. Colwill versus James. The difficult thing with James is how much emphasis Pochettino is going to put on the cup game, which comes between game weeks 17 and 18. Because if he thinks James is going to start that game, we then play weekend, midweek, weekend, midweek, weekend. And that's quite a lot of games. But if he doesn't start that one, then he just plays most of these games then. That's my confusion, how much he wants to do well in the cup. And if Gusto's going to be back, then yeah. So that worries me a little bit on James. You brought in Cunha. Is it a good shout? Yeah, he's looked really good. He was in my transfer targets video this week as one of my top differentials. He was in my transfer target as one of my top differentials this week. Start Solanke or Watkins. Probably Watkins. Definitely Watkins. We have 25 minutes to go to the deadline. Let's see if we've got any Liverpool team news. I mean, nothing reliable, but all the predicted lineups are the same. Like, everyone posting predicted lineups are all the same now. They all have Tsimikas, Darwin, Salah in it, and Alisson. I mean, it's not reliable like this is the team, but if you've got Liverpool assets, they basically all start. It looks like. But this is just a prediction. But they're all the same. So I don't know if there's just one of them that they're all copying. But they're all the same. One more. Free transfer Diaby to Gordon or Anderson to Porro. Diaby to Gordon or Anderson to Porro. Diaby to Gordon or Anderson to Porro. Probably Anderson to Porro is more worth it this week. Zayed, thank you very much every week. Yeah, really, you really don't need to. I massively appreciate it. And again, we'll give it back to someone in the chat with some gifted, some football shirt giveaways in a minute at the end of the stream. So, Zayed, honestly, you really don't need to do this every week. But yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, massively appreciated. And again, the chat get the benefits as I give it away in the form of football shirts. But good luck this week. And yeah, thank you again. And Burmo for Gordon or Sterling. You got Bowen, Son, Palmer. I probably would go Gordon. I just don't love the double up on Chelsea and Sterling being on 4 yellows. Should I start Pickford or Dubravka? I'd probably start Pickford. Also, you have Saliba, Shah, Udogi, Tsimikas, and don't know who to start. Saliba, Shah, Udogi, Tsimikas. Saliba, Shah, Udogi, Tsimikas, and don't know who to start. Well, Tsimikas definitely plays. I probably would play Udogi, Saliba, and bench Shah. Jack, we did a members one on Thursday, and we'll do another members one as well as one for the chat as well. So yes, play Sanchez over Areola. Yes. Is Porro worth a -4? Yeah, GM, I think we answered this. And you have Gabriel, Saliba, Tsimikas. Yes, I would sell Saliba. I would sell Saliba to Porro. I would sell Saliba to Porro. Martinelli and Gibbs-White out for Bowen and Luis Diaz, or are there better options? I don't love Luis Diaz. Like, he's a great player, but he's not a good FPL asset. He's never been explosive. They're never being consistent. So, yeah, I wouldn't do that. Don't worry, Jack. We'll do another one next week. That's all good. Start Dubravka or Sanchez. Dan Burn is back soon, so beware of Livramento. Yeah, I mean, I plan on doing Livramento to Trippier at some point anyway. So I've got plans to sell him. But yeah, Dan Burn is nearing a return sooner than we thought he would. But if I'd have known that, I probably would have bought Lascelles, but it is what it is. You're planning to bench Saka or Watkins because your starters are Nunez, Palmer, Hwang Hee-chan, Son, Haaland, and Salah. I mean, I hate to say it, but maybe I'd bench Palmer. Maybe I'd bench Palmer and just hope Chelsea don't get a pen. I wouldn't want to bench Saka or Watkins. It's a horrible decision to bench Palmer, but it's probably the right thing to do. Is Gordon confirmed? Yeah, Gordon is in my team. Yes. We have 20 minutes to go to the deadline. If you haven't already, please a little reminder to like the stream if you haven't. We're closing in on 1,000 likes on the stream, and we are trying to hit 90k subs before the end of the year, and we're only 600 away. Am I bringing in Porro this week? It would just be for a hit, and I'm just not going to do it. I just want to see enough going on Sunday. Trippier yellow card. Who starts for Chelsea? Yeah, those two things, really. The annoying thing is that Colwell could be one of my players to buy, and he might rise in price. He might rise in price. Start 2 of Saliba, Gabriel, and Tsimikas. I'd bench Gabriel. Just the slightly less nailed. And you have to start Tsimikas. 100k before the end of the season. We need to see that plaque. Let's hope. Let's hope. Yeah, I'm locked in on Haaland captain. What about Son? Will he perform today? And Everton player. Everton have looked good. Their fixtures are still not great for me to go in and invest in them at the moment. I just find it difficult to buy from a team that I'm not sure is going to still be consistent, and they have difficult fixtures. So Everton are still not a buy for me, and Son is a keep, just because I hope that he starts. We've seen it before with Son, Maddison, and Saka several times, that they just play and they play and they play. And if he is out, he then has a nice, few day gap until they play Friday, and then they have a nice big gap. So he has breaks. He doesn't have any Europe. They're out of the cup. So, yeah. Who's starting in goal? I hate my defense. Best replacement for Turner, still Dubravka, unless you want to go Sanchez of Chelsea. Start Lascelles or Colwell. Yudin and Burmo took Garnacho as differential. He was in my top differential, so I quite like him. I don't hate it. Cash to Colwell from -4 or hold until next week. I probably would hold. I just think Everton score against us, to be honest. Bench 1, Maguire, Trippier, Tsimikas, or Pedro Porro. Maguire, Trippier, Tsimikas, or Porro. That is so tough. Maguire, Trippier, Tsimikas, or Porro. Not Trippier. Maguire, Tsimikas, or Porro. I hate to say it, but maybe Maguire. He just has the least attacking threat. All the others have several routes to points. And Bournemouth have been pretty good recently. So, Fiona, I probably would say Maguire, but it's very close. I couldn't complain about any of them, really. Apart from Trippier, but even then, away at Spurs, you don't expect a clean sheet there. So, free hit this week, please don't. However many flags you've got, it's not worth a free hit this week. How much was Gordon? I bought him at 6 million. I bought him on Thursday evening, and I bought him at 6 million. Where is he? Yeah. So he's risen in price once. Lascelles to Porro or Colwell for a -4 or hold. Lascelles to Porro or Colwell for a -4. I'd go Porro if you can. If you can do Lascelles to Porro, I would probably do it, especially with Botman nearing a return. So just sort of saves you an issue going further forward as well. Why no Areola? Fulham have just scored 5 goals, right? So I don't expect a clean sheet from either of them. And if in the off chance that Son doesn't play, Dubravka becomes a better choice. So, bench Palmer or Alvarez. You've got to play Alvarez against Luton. You've got to play Alvarez against Luton. If you've held Alvarez this long, Cash. So, to go over again, Gordon or Alvarez, B-Mac, Alvarez again. If you've got Alvarez, you've got to play him. If you've got Lascelles and you can sell him to a decent replacement, then I would. But it's not essential to do this week. I don't know if he's going to play. I have no news. Son is similar. We have nothing on him. However, the fixtures after this week are so good that I would definitely want to keep. The only reason to sell Son is if it allows for a better transfer over the next few weeks. If you have Areola and you have Turner, I would do Turner to Dubravka for a -4. I would do it. It will not pay off this week. It will not pay off straight away, I don't think. But it gives you confirmation that you get a goalkeeper out this week. It gives, well, you'd hope it gives you confirmation. I don't know, of course, something could happen. But you then also have Dubravka for the upcoming Newcastle fixtures. They're also not likely to sign a goalkeeper anymore. Unless he has a horrible month, he's spoken very highly of them. So let's wait and see. But I think it's worth the risk going and buying Dubravka. Palmer or McTominay? Palmer. Who will score the most points over Christmas? No price limit. I mean, Haaland blanks, so that's my first thought that it might not be him. I still think Son must be up there. Watkins. Fixtures look pretty good after this week. People who don't have Watkins are going to be wanting him back. Areola, we just don't know. Areola, we just don't know. What time is it? 13 minutes. Yeah, I'm just not sure that the -4 hits is worth it. Is worth it for me this week. Nothing, like, no confirmed Liverpool news, but it looks like all of the key FPL assets are predicted to start in practically every single predicted lineup. So if you've got Salah, you've got Tsimikas, you've got Darwin, yeah, I think you're good to go. But there's no confirmed news. Tsimikas or Porro to start. Probably Porro. If Tsimikas was at home, I'd say Tsimikas, but Gabriel or Tsimikas? Definitely Tsimikas. Definitely. If I didn't have to start Gabriel this week, I would be very happy. Hype. Last one. Start Diaby or Archer. Probably Archer. They look pretty good, and it's an alright game at home to Brentford. So, is Diaby to Bowen worth a -4? Probably, given the fixture this week. Livramento or Maguire? Maguire definitely to start this week. Any plan of getting rid of Cash? Yes. I just haven't got around to it. He'll probably go next week. He'll probably go on Sunday, actually, before the price changes. He'll probably go on Sunday. Once I've seen the Chelsea lineup, and once I've seen if Trippier picks up a yellow card, that will probably be when Cash goes. Wow, now Tsimikas is being mass sold again. He rose up to 4.9 and now he's being sold again. I need rid of Cash, Tsimikas, Livramento. That's basically my next 3 transfers confirmed, unless we get more injuries. My next 3 transfers will be Cash, Tsimikas, Livramento, and buying Trippier in there somewhere. I'm finally going to own Trippier. Finally. Yeah, as I say, there's no Liverpool news yet. It's only predictions. So, unfortunately, we can't offer anything on that front. But Yeah, that's all I see. Who should I start, Trippier or Udogie? Trippier or Udogie? Probably Trippier. Definitely Trippier. I don't love Udogie. He's on 4 yellows as well. Udogie picking up a yellow card would be interesting. Because he's still 4.8. How is this guy not dropped in price again? I don't get it. But this guy's price, I have no idea what's going on here. How on earth he's not dropped in price? He got suspended. So, he missed a game through injury. So, he played against Fulham, went off injured, got 1 point. Got 1 point. Didn't play Palace. Returned against Chelsea, got sent off. Missed Wolves. Got 1 against Villa, 0 against City, and 1 against West Ham, and has dropped in price once during that time. And he has scored a total of -1 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He has scored a total of -1 points in 7 game weeks. And has dropped in price once. Zinchenko to Reece James for a hit. I think Reece will start, so you probably might get the return you need over the next couple. Is it time to triple captain Haaland? Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, definitely not. Like it's an all right for all the single game weeks, but I will always recommend playing your triple captain in a double. Thanks, H.
You're welcome.
You've joined late. Any news? Like literally nothing. It's been one of the quieter deadline streams in terms of early news. Liverpool have got much better at keeping their teams under wraps than what they were before. Because I think the person isn't a Spurs fan. They just owned Udogie. Luton at home is kind of a strong team. Yeah, but I like Palace at home are a strong team. Son's a doubt. Like, who else are you captaining? If anyone in the chat is not captaining Salah, I'd love to hear who it is. Did Cash lose his place in the Villa team? So what's happened is he's obviously noticed that he's wanted a stronger defensive team against teams like Man City and Arsenal, I think, today. So Konza is playing right back. In games like Sheffield United, I think Cash might still start, but I think he'll continue to like drop in price between now and then, which is the concern. I'm benching Areola because I don't think either of them keep a clean sheet. So I'm playing who plays for statistically the better defence this weekend. And if Son misses the game, then it makes Dubravka a much better option because Spurs without Son and Maddison are just not like a team that you massively want to be backing to score loads of goals. What site do I use to use predicted price change? It's called FPL Statistics. I can put it in the chat for you. There you go. Jump off Liverpool next week. I might be selling Tsimikas at some point. Whether it's next week or not, I don't know. Funnily enough, my defence actually looks okay next week. I'll play Gabriel against Brighton. I can't even see it that way. I can play Gabriel against Brighton. Then I can play Livramento at home to Fulham. I mean, that might be a Lewis Hall game. Is the only thing. And then I use one transfer on the final spot. So things start to look a little bit better next week. It's just this is my fine one. Your main problem in Luton games, because of the small pitch, games are not the usual. It's true, but I just don't see a better alternative. Like Salah away from home to a Palace team who are not bad defensively. Like, I just want Haaland. It's just going to be on Haaland. Like, I'm not going to move it. Yeah, FPL statistics isn't because there's so many transfers like right up to the deadline that everything gets inflated because it predicts what's going to happen for the rest of the day. So after the deadline, everything will calm down a little bit. So maybe not all of these, like Saka might, like these top ones, like Colwell might not be predicted to rise. Sponge, how are we doing? Congrats on going full time. Thoughts on Man U versus Bournemouth on the train to Old Trafford for the first time today. Solanke, Neto, Kluivert in for -4. I think it'll be a good game. I think you could give them a real. I hope you give them a better game than we did during the week. Let's hope Dom Solanke gets something. As much as he's not in my team, I love seeing Dom Solanke score because I just recommend people buying him every single week. Apparently Kwanzaa starts at centre back. Not that it means anything to anyone, but it means like Konate will probably. It's probably too many minutes for him. But yeah, nothing really confirmed on Liverpool, unfortunately. Cheers, Harry. First live stream, Green Arrows and bank balance. Let's hope. FPL running slow. I'm surprised because there shouldn't be many people making transfers, but it is running slow. It is running slow. Why Dubravka? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure Areola's going to start, and he also plays a Fulham team that have just scored 5 goals, and West Ham can't defend. So, will I publish if I make a transfer on Sunday? Maybe. I mean, I'll have a video out on Sunday. I'll have my transfer plans video. So, depending on what I decide to do, it will probably be in that video. Yeah, if you've got Darwin, if you've got Tsimikas, I'd probably start them. We don't have anything concrete that I would share with you, but all the predictions would say that Tsimikas and Salah and Darwin would all start, but it is only predictions. Dubravka or Areola to start, I'm going with Dubravka. Is Lascelles fine? Oh, we don't know. It was dead legs, you'd hope so. Is it reasonable to bench Son due to potential injury or fatigue? And start Archer? No. I mean, I wouldn't. If you've got a gut feeling, I'm never going to, say no to someone's gut feeling, but I wouldn't do it myself. Let me... Lascelles on the bench over Porro, Gabriel, or Tsimikas. Yeah, I'd leave him on the bench. Porro to Trippier and Boomer to Gordon for a -4. Pedro to Trippier. I wouldn't do Pedro Porro out. I wouldn't sell Pedro Porro this week. Cash to James for a -4. Yes, I don't. Yeah, probably. Haaland bench this week for the rest. I don't think so. He's good. Doesn't have to play in the Champions League midweek. They've already qualified top of their group. Will I start Semenyo over Watkins? Definitely not. Bench Alvarez over Hwang. Have a feeling Pep changes things for Luton. Alvarez is at risk. I wouldn't personally, but if you want to, Chuck is stuck on stream. Slim, I went back and did your Alvarez to Solanke after this week. Yes, next week it works quite well. Yes, after this week. You have 1 minute to go into the deadline. Please go and check your teams. By the time you hear this, the deadline will be passing. So please go and check your teams. We are locked in for another game week. We are locked in for another game week. Let me just post it on Twitter and then we will get in. We'll do a little bit. We'll do the football shirt giveaway now. So a reminder, we're going to give away a football shirt now. So don't head off quite yet. We're going to do that in just a moment. But that is the deadline. This is how I locked in for the weekend. Thank you, Mark. Cool. So, cool. Congrats, GG's. Football shirt, yes. We're going to do a giveaway now. Yeah, Roger, you won last week. I need to get that shipped out for you. Let me get the stream up and then we can do it. So, in order to enter, you have to be subscribed, of course. And in order to win, what's the keyword we're going to do? What's the keyword we're going to do? We're going to do, it's always a transfer, so we're going to do Gordon. We're going to do Gordon. Type Gordon in the chat if you want to be in with a chance of winning. So, membership gifting. You also get members only content for a month free as well. I know there's a delay on the stream, so we'll leave it a second and then we will go for it. So let's go. It's just loading. There we go. You can stop typing. You can stop. I'm going to miss it again. Daniel Verholzer. Congratulations. Congratulations, Daniel. He's in the chat. You're in the chat. Send me a message on Instagram or Twitter and I'll get you that sent out. You can stop typing Gordon in the chat now. Congratulations. We'll be back again next week. But Daniel, send me a message on Instagram or Twitter and we'll get that locked in for you. Cool. Right. Daniel, you won. No worries. Right, I'm going to wrap up the stream there for today. I'm heading out for the day. Thank you all very much for joining. Good luck this week. Fingers crossed for a green arrow finally. But yeah, have a fantastic weekend, everyone. There'll be a video back on Sunday evening, so I'm sure I will see you all then. And yeah, we'll be back again very soon. Thanks, everyone.